Great Spirit of Yosemite, the story of Chief Tenaya. Before a day was ever conceived as a day, before westering sunrise warned of rain, before stars flew across skies without being seen, before signs and words turned into themselves, the Great Spirit, without before or after, over countless millennia counted without numbers, woke the whole valley into its life with a single breath, in a love that had always been. The Awaniches were an indigenous group of Native American Indians who lived in Awani, now known as Yosemite Valley in California. This is the story of their chief, Tenaya, his family and people, and their fate during and following the Mariposa Indian War of 1851. It is a story of family and tribal love, spirituality and law, torn apart during the California Gold Rush. This following short extract at the beginning of the tale sets the scene of their way of life and homeland from around the mid-18th century, when Tenaya's father, Lagundo, became chief. Awani. Granite scarps rise to stand and shape the gaping mouth of Awani, forged under some other skies through a continuance of ages, their veteran faces scarred by wind, ice, rain and snow. Symphonies of ponderosa pines, incense cedars and black oaks shoulder through skirts of mist, underscored by a drama of dogwoods, azaleas, lilacs and manzanitas, their pink and white summer lights peering through shapes and shadows. A sun ray leans against a russet rib of granite, slowly sliding down the cliff face of Totucanula, through the woods at Pohono, to unfold bright lights on fresh green grassy meadows. The river glides through susurrations of forest fed by roaring spring waters, leaping from naked ochre cliffs, falling through white air. In an age measuring 4 millennia before the time white men entered Awani, first founding Indians had been led by the Great Spirit from their distance in the west to claim earthroot in this valley. They gave first footprints. They are heirs, giving the name of Awani, the gaping mouth, to their given place. But this story is older than living memories. We have only signs and words looking back through the river's reflections, as we now look back again, singing the song of another age, with no way of knowing what the river remembered as it held that day. The song is the same, though the leaves and acorns on the trees and sweet clover in the valley have changed, just as this story has changed, to be told as an Awaniche story. The Great Spirit and Awani chiefs guided and furnished their families, drawing life from around them, age after age, season after countless season, in wholeness with the spirit of the valley. This was always their way, to fix the valley from its life, plants, animals, rocks, trees, tracks, villages, mountains, each separate piece a spirit in an understood, enduring union, sending and receiving love to each in the spirit's earthly cycle. Sons hunted deer, squirrels, rabbits, grizzly bears, fished rivers and streams for trout, as their fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, animals descended from the very same animals their forefathers hunted. Daughter gathered pine nuts, acorns, wild fruits, berries, roots, sweet clover and grasses from the meadows, crickets and worms from the fields, as their mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers. Skins from grizzly bears, coyotes, rabbits, squirrels used for clothing, mattresses and bedding, pines and cedar bark for building ochums, teepees, musas, sweat lodges, chuckas, acorn and nut stores, hanganees, ceremonial roundhouses, forming the fabric of the valley from only what was needed. Each Awani child born in this sentinel wall valley was preserved in an ancient known world, absorbing the right and wrong way of singing, eating, hunting, speaking, sacred knowledge of the world that lived in the world, through gifts of the Great Spirit, sliding between world maker and world trickster. Our Nietzsche's lived in this valley, their refuge, for millennia, with nothing to run from, nothing to run to, aeons of time threading the valley to its sky with the rhythms and flow of a wani, this their wild birthright. Around 480 Awanichis lived in 40 small camps scattered throughout the valley floor, separated by the river according to totemic traditions. Grizzly bears to the north of the river and coyotes to the south. Groups intermarried, men taking squaws from the other group. Each spring they migrated to the high country to hunt for deer, and following seasonal changes moved up and down the Awani River to fish and forage for crops, nuts, seeds. They traded with friendly tribes beyond Koyofa, especially the Kukadikadi to the east. Chief Lagundo succeeded his father as chief of Awanichis at the age of 25 winters, 1765 in white man's calendar. He was tall, if somewhat slight, shoulders a little stooped, belaying his ferocious strength and will. He had huge hands and feet and carried himself with soft steps. He ministered his people in peace and harmony, always giving praise to the valley, their freedom and the Great Spirit. The camps lay cupped in their chief's protective, capable hands. He took 3 squaws and bore 5 children, 2 stout girls and 3 good sons. His open good nature and wise leading of his people led them to love and respect the chief. He was attentive and clever at diagnosing and solving disputes, guiding them to hunting grounds and protecting their place in the valley. And this is how they lived, hunting, fishing and gathering, nights of feasting and dancing under the Milky Way, singing and storytelling, playing games, swimming, diving, racing, drawing all they needed from around them with respect for the spirits of all the creatures and plants that sustain them, living at their own pace, moving as the valley moved at its own pace, in its own time, following their elders in an invisible bloodline from far in a time under the stars of the west, settled in Awani through successions of comings and goings of the seasons. Generations of families under the spell of the valley, cradled in a calm that ripened under the forests and on the meadows. One morning, a hot, humid summer blew a sick wind from the west. Thank you for listening.